I've been in this role of CISO for almost 30 years now, and the world, from my perspective, has forgotten aspects of security or relies on traditional security in a way that we can't anymore. Firewalls are an example. There is no edge. Your users are everywhere. They're sitting in Starbucks, they're sitting at home, they're sitting all the places James was talking about earlier. And so thinking that I built this great firewall that's, the best in class firewall only helps those people and systems that are in your office. But then you create a VPN and let them into the network, and by implicit trust, that IP address on your network now has access to your network. So if that machine at home is compromised and they VPN in, now your network is compromised. So even with the best security at the edge, you're still not securing. So what we've built is a portfolio of services that cover the two halves or the two sides of the coin. One side of the coin is the cyber or the endpoint, the user aspect. So what they access, how they access it, how they're protected from the two largest threat vectors, email and DNS. And then on the backside, it's the network. What is the access controls? How do you segment systems from each other? How do you prevent lateral movement? How do you block a hacker who compromises one system from impacting the entire network? And we've come in after the fact and done incident responses for companies that were not customers, and it's countries, like they may be across multiple countries, and every country isn't encrypted. Every system in every country and their networks down. It takes them months to recover. We've done incident response for customers that are on the service. It's 48 hours and they're up and running again. And it's not a matter of if you will get hacked. You will get hacked. Every one of your customers at some point will get hacked. How well are you set up to defend against it? So that notion of those two sides of the coin, protecting the endpoint and the user, and then protecting the network, are really what we put together. So we have this portfolio of XDR services that are really focused on DNS, email security. And email security is not your traditional gateway security. It's more advanced phishing protection, business email compromise, the key things that are big problems today that gateways don't solve. DNS defense is all about protecting the 80% of all malware requires DNS to function. So preventing that malware from getting to command and control, you just knocked out 80% of the stuff that lands on the system. And then obviously the MDR endpoint protection is a key factor and key component. Beyond that, based on your client's needs, there's SIM add-ons to that so that you can expose a SIM to the customer. Some regulatory requirements require a customer to have their own SIM, so we've got that capability. On the SASE side, we have ZTNA and secure web gateway functionality. We have ZT-WAN, which is zero trust, MPLS replacement, global network. And we also have NDR, which is segmentation and deception integrated together. And then there's other ancillary services for most of those, our MSP partners do themselves, but we have it in case somebody doesn't. And so it's really this portfolio that's designed to close gaps and be, I like to call us the special operations team in the background. You guys are the infantry taking care of everything, taking down the core battle and making sure we're moving the front forward, and we're just there to help if stuff goes wrong. And that's really the operations team that we put together in the back end as a support layer on the security side. And then the tools are there to have that frontline defense, prevent the stuff from getting in at all, prevent the attacks from happening if we can. Like I said, no tool is perfect, and the hackers are pretty freaking smart. They keep leapfrogging any security controls we put in place. A perfect example is there was most recently one of the endpoint tools we have, there was a compromise found in it, and we deployed the fix in that compromise across every one of our systems as overnight, because we're constantly on top of what's happening. If you're busy and your help desk is busy dealing with end user supports and claims, and you don't have time to look at the feeds and the threats and all that are coming in, it's hard to do both. It's hard to do the front end, back end without a larger team, which is what James was hinting at.
Well, and I'll add something to that. I think, earlier I talked about picking all the different technologies to secure clients, but making them work together, right, is a skill in itself, right? And the fact that to me, that's what really put me over the finish line with you guys was not only did you select the tools, but you've masterfully configured everything to feed and work off of one another so that it works together seamlessly, right? And that's tough to do. And that's what, aside from selecting a product, that's what really makes it special, right? Is the fact that you've done that, and because you've done that, you can replace a piece and still make sure that everything's running smoothly together. So